Last March, we ordered Chinese food. Good morning. Last March, we ordered Chinese food, and the fortune that came inside Emma's cookie said, "Be prepared to modify your plan." What great timing for a fortune like that, huh? And over the next several months, each time we found ourselves in a situation where we needed to adjust, we would quote the cookie, "Be prepared to modify your plan," as a reminder that not everything we plan works out according to the plan. From small things like maybe we thought we'd have time to play a certain game and then we'd run out of time. Or maybe we thought we'd wear something specific and then we'd find out that it was in the laundry. Plans that we make for ourselves, they don't always work out. And then there are even bigger changes, like not having the birthday party that you thought you might have, or not going on the holiday that you'd hoped for, or maybe not going to school the way that you normally do. This year has been a year of modified plans, of constantly adjusting and being adjusted. It can feel really frustrating to have things not work out according to a plan, especially if you're the kind of person who really likes to have that feeling of control in your schedule or in your life. And especially if you have things that you've looked forward to or things that you expected that you'd be able to do. Things changing out of our control can often cause us to feel anxious or upset. Change takes something certain and makes it uncertain. Some changes are easier to cope with than others, like if your favorite outfit that you had planned to wear one day is in the wash. It could be upsetting or disappointing, but it is easy to make that change. You could choose your second favorite outfit, since you probably have more than just one outfit to choose from. Some things are really hard to cope with a change. Sometimes it's really, really hard to modify our plan. Let's take this water and this ice as our example this morning. When each is met with the same temperature change, heat, the water and the ice have two different reactions. The ice melts into a puddle, and the water evaporates to create steam. Now, neither the water nor the ice have a choice in their reaction, but we do. We have a choice between two reactions to a change in plans. It can turn us into a puddle, or we can choose to rise up to the challenge. But how do we do this? How do we make sure that when the heat is on, we rise instead of melting? Well, one thing that might help us to remember is that for all of the changes that we are faced with every day, there is something that stays the same: God. The Bible reminds us that in a world full of changes, God remains the same. We can read in the book of Hebrews, and God says, "Never will I leave you. Never will I forsake you." The word forsake means to give up on. God is saying that He will never leave us and He will never give up on us. So because God says this, the passage then says that we can say with confidence, "The Lord is my helper. I will not be afraid. What can mere mortals do to me?" Now that is a superhero statement if I ever heard one. With God as my helper, what can mere mortals do to me? Sure, they can change my plans. Sure, they can put change in my life. But God is with me. God will never leave me or give up on me. God, as it says in this verse, is the same yesterday, today, and tomorrow. And when everything seems to be changing or different, remembering that God is constant, that God is unchanging, always gives me comfort and strength so that I can take a breath and work on my steam reaction. God's promises are unchanging too. God's love for us doesn't change. God loves us when everything is going our way, and God loves us when everything is falling apart. He loves us when we are happy or sad, struggling or at peace. Nothing, no changes can separate us from God's love. We all need reminders sometimes that we need to be flexible in our plans. That's why I like this message of the fortune cookie so much. Be prepared to modify your plan. It helps us get ready for change. Helps us understand that sometimes we need to be flexible in our plans. And while we are, we can remember that amid the changes, God is with us. He is unchanging and He will not forsake us. And we can say with confidence, "The Lord is my helper. I will not be afraid." And then we can rise like the steam and say, "I can make this change."